So now we're going to work on the gluten-free lemon Poppyseed Financier, which is really a French cake. We're going to use it as an element in another dessert, but we're also going to make it gluten-friendly. So we're not using any flour today. It's relatively simple, and if I was doing a larger amount, I would do it in a machine, but we're just doing a small amount, so I can just do it with a spatula. Make sure that you have your pan ready to go. So you want your pan lined with parchment, okay? And then we're just gonna start mixing stuff. So we're gonna take our sugar, our almond flour, our brown rice flour, and we're gonna stir those together. In with my sugar, I also had my salt. So I just wanna get those all mixed up. Look for any lumps. If it's humid out, break any of those up. Okay, and then I'm gonna stir in my poppy seeds and lemon zest. And I actually zested my lemon right over the poppy seeds so that it would catch any of the oil from the lemons, because that's where a lot of the flavor comes from. We're gonna mix that in. And we have our brown butter that we did earlier, and I've let it cool a little bit. So I'm now gonna stir that in, and I'm gonna do it in maybe 2 additions. So I'm going to start with the first bit. Just get my mix started here. Remember, there's no gluten in here, so there's no risk of over-mixing. But at the same time, there's no point in over-mixing. So give that a quick toss. I'm going to add the rest of my butter. And you can see in the bottom of my bowl, I have all of this dark bits. This is where the flavor comes from, so make sure you get all of that as well, unless you've burned it, in which case, don't use it. Has a really shortbread type smell. So we're gonna stir that in. We've got that all combined. And the last thing I need to do is just add in my egg whites. So make sure your spatula is cleaned off. And then we're just going to add these in. So just throw it on top. And we're going to stir it in. You could use a whisk to do this if you find that your stuff isn't going to break up properly. But with a small amount, I find that it mixes up pretty simply. There. So our batter's ready to go. Because I've lined the pan so well with parchment, I don't need to spray it. You're just going to put your batter in the pan. And it's a pretty liquidy batter, so it should level itself out. But if you find that there's some lumps or bumps, you might just want to take a quick offset and level it. You also want to make sure it gets into the corners, so you have a nice even layer of cake. Go. Give it a quick tap, and then we're going to put that in the oven, and it is going to bake at a pretty low temperature, about 285, until it springs back just a little and a pick inserted in the center comes out clean. So into the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so our lemon financier has come out of the oven. You can see it's barely golden brown. And then when I put a pick in the middle, it comes out with only a few little tiny crumbs stuck to it. So that's how we know it's good. I can touch it, my fingers don't collapse it. So now we're going to set that aside in the freezer, and we will come back to it when we make our dessert.